Right. So the story of the monastery of St. Catherine's. So that monastery is the oldest continuous monastery in the world. It was there were monks living there like all the way in the early hundreds, right? But then in the 6th century, Justinian fortified the monastery. Justinian was a Byzantine emperor, and monks have continued to live there from the 6th century to today. And as a result, they also have so many amazing objects, icons, but then also manuscripts and liturgical objects. And you can really see the breadth of Byzantium when you go to the monastery. I mean, it is one of the most important sites in the world. The monastery and the Metropolitan Museum has had such a close connection since an exhibition that Helen Evans, the previous Byzantine curator, did in 1997 called The Glory of Byzantium. And that was the first time that the monastery lent out icons. And Helen Evans and the monks in the monastery formed such a close, important relationship. But then it was also an opportunity for the world to really understand the importance of the monastery. And one thing that I wanted to do with Africa Byzantium was continue that relationship. Helen Evans retired in 2020, and I knew that I wanted for my exhibition to talk about why that monastery was still important for the Eastern Mediterranean, but then also Africa. And I was a little bit naive when I was put those objects on the checklist because I was like, oh, well, the Met has such a long relationship with the monastery. It shouldn't be really that difficult in order to borrow those objects for the exhibition. And then when I went to the monastery to do the loan negotiations for the exhibition, the monks, the first question that they asked me was, well, have you climbed Sinai? So the monastery is at the very bottom of the mountain. And I was thinking to myself, like I actually wear suits a lot. And I was wearing a suit for this meeting. And, I paused. I was like, well, I haven't climbed Sinai, but I could do that at another time. And then the monk said, well, we're not going to continue this conversation until you've climbed Sinai. And so I just paused. I was like, okay, well, maybe later. And they're like, no, you can do it now. And then we can have the conversation afterwards. And so I changed shoes. But I was basically in like my black suit. They gave me a guide to go up to the top of the mountain. It took me 7 hours in order to go up. And then it took me, it was a long time. To get back down. It was very scary. And then at the bottom of the mountain, the monks were there and they were like, okay, well, we can have our conversation now. It was like right afterwards. And it was interesting going up into the top of the mountain because I really felt the importance of the site in a way that you can't describe, right? And not only have the monks been living there for so long, but then pilgrims have been going to that site for 1,500 years and longer. And going up to the top of Sinai, I was going the same route that those pilgrims are going on. And so I really felt like I was a part of that larger story, and I understood those objects much better after going through that process. It's kind of a funny story now, and I think it would have been a little bit different if the loans didn't actually come, but I'm going to remember it for the rest of my life. But then after that, I developed my own relationship with the monastery and the monks, and I've come to admire and respect them so much that they inspire me continuously. I think they wanted me to go through that process that so many hundreds of thousands of people have gone through in order to understand the importance of the icons that they protect and the importance of the monastery to global history. And you really, you can read about it, right? But after you go through that process, you change, right? And you can even explain the beauty of the site that you experience when you're at the top of the mountain.